French President Emmanuel Macron has reiterated his differences with U.S. President Donald Trump in responding to the escalation of the conflict between Israel and Iran, strongly rejecting military action that could potentially topple the regime in Tehran and trigger regional chaos. In a statement delivered on Tuesday, June 17, 2025, local time, Macron voiced his concerns about the increasingly confrontational direction of U.S. policy towards Iran. He warned that the military option to replace the Iranian government would be a big mistake and would actually bring the region into a deeper abyss of instability. "We do not want Iran to have nuclear weapons," Macron said, as reported by Reuters. "But the biggest mistake would be to use a military attack to change the regime, because that would create chaos. Our responsibility is to return to the discussion as soon as possible so that we can reset the direction on the nuclear and ballistic missile issues." The statement came a day after Macron said that Trump's departure from the G7 summit in Canada was aimed at encouraging a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. But Trump publicly denied the claim on social media X on Tuesday morning, saying Macron was wrong and that his departure had nothing to do with the ceasefire. Trump has since ratcheted up his rhetoric, demanding Iran's unconditional surrender and warning that the United States' patience is wearing thin amid a 5-day air battle between Israel and Iran. Israel says its military operation was launched to stop Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon, a charge Tehran has consistently denied. Iran insists its nuclear program is purely peaceful and within the framework of international law. In his statement, Macron called for Iran's nuclear program to be subject to international scrutiny and urged a reduction in Iran's ballistic missile arsenal. But he strongly rejected attacks on energy infrastructure, civilians or military action aimed at regime change. Does anyone think what was done in Iraq in 2003 was a good idea? Or what was done in Libya a decade later was the right decision? No, Macron said. I also think about our friends in the region like Iraq, Lebanon and others. We have to help them reduce the threat to their security, but they don't need chaos. Meanwhile, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz said Israel was doing dirty work for its Western allies in pressuring Iran. Merz acknowledged Israel's success in hitting several Iranian nuclear installations, but said it would not have been able to take out the Fordo nuclear facility without the help of U.S. military force. The Israeli military is clearly not capable of doing it. They don't have the necessary weapons. But the Americans do, Merz said in an interview with ZDF. In another interview, Merz said a decision to directly involve the U.S. would likely be taken soon, depending on Iran's willingness to return to the negotiating table. Meanwhile, Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz issued a stark warning that Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, could suffer the same fate as Iraqi President Saddam Hussein, who was ousted and executed after the U.S. invasion in 2003.